Hey everybody, New School Comic Book Reviews. Okay, this one is brought to you by St. Ives. That's the beer that Ice Cube used to drink back in the late 90s. I don't know if he actually drank it, but I know he had an endorsement deal with them. But okay, let's get to the comics. First thing I have is Doctor Strange #1. Okay, so Doctor Strange #1 by Jason Aaron and Chris Pachalo. For the most part, I liked it. I thought it did everything that a good first issue should do. You're basically introduced to the main character. You get to learn a little bit about his personality. You find out what he does and what kind of environment he operates in. You get a little bit of character interaction and you get some action to kind of wet your whistle. So I liked it. I also really enjoy Chris Pachalo's art. In the past, I mean, I've always liked his kind of funky style, but sometimes there's been some comics where he kind of overdid it and it was hard to tell what was going on in the panels. But for here, I think he's got it under control. And then for this kind of comic, you really do need a stylized artist. You know, you can't really have somebody whose whole thing is just to make the hero look Adonis and strike poses. You really have to have somebody who has a kind of out there visual imagination. Couple things I would nitpick on is something I've seen a few other people say. The tone is maybe slightly a little bit too snarky for Doctor Strange. I don't think it was overdone, but I think it could have been dialed back like just a notch. And the other thing is, I don't know how I feel about them kind of establishing Doc as kind of a playboy. I kind of sort of, I don't know, kind of roll my eyes about that a little bit. I wasn't offended or anything, but it's like, again, it's Doctor Strange. So, okay. Cyborg #3. Okay, Cyborg #3, written by David Walker, the artist by Ivan Reyes and Eduardo Panzica. Again, for the most part, I enjoyed it. You are starting to get to see Cyborg be more of the hero, more of the leader. I like the stuff with the alien invasion. I like, we get his cast and whatnot. Uh, there's some pretty interesting guest stars who show up, and there's kind of a twist though, and the last page twist is kind of something you've seen a bunch of times in comics and TV shows of this sort. And I'm not down on it, but I'm kind of curious as to if David Walker could actually make it seem fresh. But other than that, I think it's not. It didn't reinvent the wheel. It's not terribly mind blowing or anything like that. But I thought it was solid. I thought it was decent. The only thing is, there's kind of he kind of falls into a kind of campy superhero cliches where you have people doing snappy banter in the fight scenes, and he literally has people saying stuff like, "Hey, keep your hands to yourself," and it's like, okay, you could have tried a little bit harder with that sort of thing. But other than that, I think it's a really decent issue, and yeah, it's decent. I'm still looking forward to seeing how David Walker is going to handle this character in the future. I read that he's also signed a deal with Marvel where he's going to be bringing back Power Man and Iron Fist, so I'm interested in seeing how that goes as well. Grumpy Cat #1. Grumpy Cat #1. Okay, there's three stories here. or yeah, I'll say three real stories here. And the creative teams are, the first one is done by Ben McCool and Steve Yui. Second one is Ben Fisher and Michelle Nunyan. Fourth and the third one is by Royal McGraw and Ken Hazer. I thought it was fun, more or less. I liked the first story a lot more than the subsequent ones. First one is Grumpy Cat and Pokey go to a haunted house, and that's the one I enjoyed the most. The art I thought was really delightful. It was really well done, and and the story was kind of slight, but okay. And the second one I thought was really flawed. I thought the art just wasn't as good. I thought it was really inconsistent with the way the artist drew the main characters. So I don't know. And then we had the last story, which I thought the art got better again, even though it's not as good as the art in the first one. But I thought it was more professional looking, for lack of a better word. So, so there's that. I'm curious as if to whether or not this could be something could be an ongoing or not. I mean, I imagine it could be, but I'm not so sure if with Grumpy Cat kind of being an internet sensation, if this will just be the little one shot where they kind of cash in, and and that's that. But we'll see. If there is a series, I would like to see them have a little bit more consistent art and maybe flesh out the stories a little bit more. So there's that. Paper Girls #1. Okay, so next comic is Paper Girls #1, written by Brian K. Vaughan and the arts by Cliff Chang. The premise is more or less you have these four girls here. They deliver newspapers in their neighborhood, and they find out about strange goings-ons in the neighborhood, weird supernatural and otherworldly things that are going on. I thought it was pretty decent. It really kind of reminded me of back when they used to have stuff like Goosebumps and Goonies and Monster Squad and things like that. There's actually, if you look closely in the background, there's actually a poster for Monster Squad in somebody's bedroom. And I thought for the most part it was really well done for what it is. I really, really enjoyed Chris Chang's art here. I think a lot of times people put down what they think of as simple or simplistic art, but the truth of the matter is it's actually very it's hard to actually draw like this and pull it off well. I think it's easier for people to appreciate guys like Jim Lee or say HK or Juge Williams III, who put a lot of like detail and a lot of work into a lot of shading and cross hatching and things like that, because it's just really the labor intensity of it is just it's there on the page. But when you have guys like say Alex Toth or Jaime Hernandez or uh, Dan DeCarlo or something like that, there are very solid fundamentals of art and drawing going on, but you just don't notice it because, like I said, they've used fewer lines to get the same effect. I mean, seriously, I just really think it's great. I think it's awesome. I mean, look, you've got four completely different girls here, and they're completely individualistic, and you can completely tell them apart. They don't have the exact same faces, they don't have the same body shapes or anything, and like I said, it's a rarefied skill these days. Um, ah, And like I said, it's kind of almost like a kid's adventure story. The only thing is, though, and I don't know, it might be a drawback because simply because there's a little bit of like cursing and swearing in this comic. It doesn't bother me. I'm not offended, but I'm wondering, would it I don't know, would it hamper someone from giving this comic book to, say, a kid? Because I actually think a young person would enjoy this type of thing. It really has that sort of young adult feel, young adult fiction feel to it. Um, but the sh word is in there and the f word is in there and stuff like that. So, but anyway, I really enjoyed it, and it's also a good deal. There's like at least 40 pages of story here on really heavy stock paper, and it's only like 2.99, so it was an excellent deal. Okay. Miracle Man #3, and I also got Nameless 5, Midnighter 5, uh, Dark Tower the Drawing, Lady of Shadows, numbers 1 and 2. And I also got Minimum Wage number 6. Okay, so I got to thank you very much for listening, and you have a good day.